Good morning. This is just a quick video to follow up from the ones I've been doing over the past few days. Now, I was actually got an electric shock last night at around 6. I was cleaning my kitchen and I was cleaning the hob, and all of a sudden it started under the rings, the electric ignitions started to click. And before I could move my hand away, I actually got an electric shock off the rings of the hob. It continued to keep sparking. It wouldn't turn itself off. Luckily, I'm alive. And what I had to do was pull out the oven and make sure everything was turned off, as the oven and the hob are on separate plug sockets. Sorry, they're in the same plug socket, but they're on separate plugs. So I ended up at A&E last night, George Eliot Hospital. I rang the 111 service first, which is what they tell you to do. And they said, right, because you've had an electric shock, you need to go and get yourself checked out because there may be damage to you that isn't visible. I was in A&E from about 7-ish till 3 a.m. this morning. Now, what actually happened was sorry, I'm just rubbing my eye. It was my left hand that took the initial shock, and it was my thumb and forefinger. And this morning, what I've got is like a little hole here in my hand, just there. Like it's a bit like a little burn, which wasn't there yesterday. And then if I look at my other hand, my left hand, my right hand, just there on my again my fourth finger. You probably can't see it. It's probably quite blurry, to be honest. It is so small that the camera is probably not picking it up with the settings I'm using. But there is like a little mark there on my finger where it feels swollen. Now, the reason why they told me to go to hospital was because I was having pins and needle sensations. Not in the hand that actually touched the hob. It was in the opposite hand. And my thumb and forefinger I couldn't put them together like this. It felt really like they were swollen and thick and fuzzy and painful. And then before I went to the hospital, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be sick. And this is going to sound really horrible. I didn't. I actually lost all bowel control. And ever since getting home from the hospital, the same things happened. Now, because I struggle with a mental health problem, I'm on a lot of medication for that, and I had to explain that to the hospital. I also have bile acid malabsorption, which can unfortunately cause loose bowel movements, which is probably one of the main reasons why they decided to keep me in so long, to make sure that it was definitely my other health problems that were being monitored by my GP, and not the fact that I'd just been electrocuted, that were causing me to have an elevated white blood cell count. My bloods weren't normal, my heart, my ECG wasn't normal, my blood pressure wasn't, everything was a bit of a cause for concern. So I'm just grateful that it was me and not my kids that this happened to. So please, I suppose the purpose of this video is, even if you only get like a little shock like that, and you don't think there's anything wrong with you, you're not a doctor, seek medical attention. Because by the time I got to A&E, literally the whole of this hand was tingling. And ever since this has happened, I feel like I've got the flu. It's really weird. It could just be stress-related or delayed shock, ironically. What do you get from getting shocked by electric? Delayed shock. Yeah, ha, ha, ha. But literally, all of my left side is hurting and achy. My back, my shoulder, my neck, my head hurts. And like I said, this morning I noticed this little mark there in sort of like in the palm of my hand, and then the same one over here. So what could and may have happened is the electric travelled through my body somehow, because it's supposed to find the most easiest and direct route out against the earth. I don't know how it works. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm a full-time single mom. But yeah, so I'm very, very lucky. I think the biggest concern was the fact that when I did get that electric shock from my hob, is it didn't trip the electric box in my house. And yes, I have contacted the council, and they've told me if my landlord does not get it sorted by Friday of this week, then to phone them back straight away. So again, do not suffer in silence. If you are in a property, even if it's your own property, there is a care and due diligence to make sure that appliances and gas and electric and water mains are adequately serviced. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem to matter how many times I've contacted my landlord over the last 8 years. I'm hoping this time he will take me seriously and do a full, complete, wire check, even if it's just only on the wires that are visible, and plug sockets and water mains and all the pipe work that is visible. Because I cannot afford, to put myself at risk like this. Who would take care of my children? And I'm just lucky, and I'm just so grateful that it was me that got this electric shock and not my 5-year-old son or my 8-year-old or my 10-year-old. I'm always saying to them, don't go in the kitchen, don't go in the kitchen. It's not because I don't want them to learn how to be self-sufficient. It's because I was so paranoid that I wasn't 100% happy with the electrics. And my biggest worry was that somebody would get electrocuted in there or get an electric shock in there from one of the appliances. And ironically, it ended up being me. So please, don't think, oh, yeah, because, you can go at those games, where you can electrocute yourself. Ha ha. No. Just seek medical attention. Even if you are sitting there for 10 hours or 12 hours or whatever, at least you're in the building. So if anything was to go wrong, you're there. If I was to have gone home and gone to bed and something had happened to me, no one would have known. No one would have even been able to have got into my house. So please, just take care of yourselves, everybody, and have a great day.